Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Lori Smith on Blog Talk Radio. It is Monday night, February the 8th, 9:30 p.m., and I'm extremely happy to be here, and I'm glad that you're here too. This is Child Abuse Prevention and Human Rights Abuse Prevention is up to us, and yeah, it's great. I'm so happy to be here. We just cover all kinds of topics related to child abuse, human rights abuses, domestic violence, and all types of issues surrounding abuse. And tonight we're going to be looking at, we're just going to continue, really it's a continuation of Friday night's topic, which was dealing with the effects of trauma, a self-help guide. And I found this information on a website. It's http://mentalhealth.samhsa.gov. And that's SAMHSA's National Mental Health Information Center, and great information. This is such a good article. I love this article. It's very healing. It's very much suited for people who have experienced trauma in their lives of any sort, any kind of trauma. You know, it could be a car accident. It could have been something that happened in your childhood. It could just be dealing with something in your life like an illness or something like a surgery that you had that went wrong, and just so many things can cause trauma, just traumatic experiences, and really affect people in very various ways and very damaging ways. And so this is a great article, and I just want to continue on with it. And so I'm really happy you're here, and I hope you get something out of it. I know I am for sure. And so I'm just going to do a housekeeping thing here. This is not a professional show, and I'm not a professional counselor or therapist. I don't have any professional certificates. I'm just a lady who sits on Blog Talk Radio 10 shows a week, just because I want to share what I'm finding, resources that I find are really helpful and that I think are worth sharing. I'm a victim and a survivor of child abuse and domestic violence secondhand, and I know what it's like to watch a family suffer. I know what it's like myself to suffer and really deal with traumatic stuff, and that's just why I thought, I want to be one more voice to add to all the other voices out there who are speaking out against abuse and speaking up for the people who cannot stand up for themselves, the little children out there, the kids who don't have a voice, right? And also for, women who are just so battered and men who are so battered down that they don't have a voice either. And I just want to be one more voice to say it has to stop. It's really up to us to make the change. We have to look around our own lives and look around at what's going on with the people in our lives if we're ever going to make a difference, right? And because if we all did that, then obviously if everybody did that, the world would be a lot better place. And as I'm doing this, I find that it's so helpful for me in my own walk, in my own healing journey, from dealing with years and years of just feeling so down and so alone, right? That's why I thought, I got to be a voice for people to realize that they're not alone. And as I see all the support that's out there, and I have so many supportive friends that really encourage me to keep going, and I really love you all so much, and you just have no idea what you mean to me. And I sit online and I type to you guys, but I'll just say it out with my own voice. I love you all so much. And if you could be in this room right here with me where I'm doing my Blog Talk show, you would know how much love I have for you. So I thank you so much. And I just want you to keep going, keep walking forward, and keep searching and keep looking for that light and that truth and for goodness. And because, life can be good. And we deserve to have a good life. And so that's why I say, let's do it together. We need to do this together and just keep walking it out because better days are coming, my friends. So we'll just get on with this article here. And also, if you're under the age of 18, I just ask that you listen at your own discretion. And if you're under the age of 18, please maybe make sure someone's with you when you're listening to this, just because topics surrounding abuse and stuff can be very sensitive. People are very sensitive to the topic of abuse, and unless you're in a safe place and you have someone who can explain things to you, you might you might go away with a lot of questions and be wondering, well, why or what happened or that sort of thing, right? And so I just really think it's good to have someone with a good head on their shoulders listen to this with you, and just to say, yeah, if you have any questions about it, you can ask me, right? And you can always get a hold of me on blogtalkradio.com. Send me a message. I'm on Facebook, MySpace, different places like that. So yeah, because I just want people to be comfortable, and if you think the subject is just going to bother you, this goes for everybody listening to the show, then please turn it off, because I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, and really you only should be listening to what you think you can listen to, because we all know that certain things can trigger, and I don't want to trigger anyone. So be in a safe place when you're listening to the show. That's all. I just want to make sure everybody's in a safe place, because I really care, and it's important. So we'll get on with this article now. It's so good. Dealing with the Effects of Trauma, a Self-Help Guide. And we're on for about 25 minutes. It's a live internet streaming blog talk radio program, and you can phone in. I haven't been taking callers because every time I do, it's some guy yelling at me some obscene thing or whatever, and I just can't be bothered with that. I think it'd be best if people email me if they want to be on the show or have a question, and then come on the show. If I know your number, I'll put you on the show, because I would love to hear from you. But I just get tired of listening to those people who have nothing better to do, right? So, because this is important stuff, right? And what they're doing is just, not that important. So I don't want to waste my time talking to those guys, right? So I'd almost prefer that you do get a hold of me first, because I'm not really going to be taking phone calls unless I see a number that I recognize, right? So this article here, it starts out talking about the fact that trauma, it says you may have had one or many very upsetting, frightening, or traumatic things happen to you in your life, or that you were threatened, or maybe this stuff threatened or hurt someone that you love, right? And it can kind of show up sometimes right away in your life, or it can come later. You might not realize that it even affected you. Let's say, a person has a car accident and they're fine, but then years later it shows up in some form of stress in their life, and all the trauma surrounding that accident all of a sudden begins to manifest in their life, right? And this can happen, right? We know it happens to people all the time. And so dealing with trauma is very important, and it's not something to suffer with. And that's why I say, they said here on this article, they said that this information booklet's really not, it says it can be used safely along with your other health care treatment. So they like to promote this book for people. It's a self-help guide, but they also suggest professional treatment, like maybe some therapy or counseling or, support groups, that type of thing, right? Which that is so important. I belong to a lot of support groups, and the more the merrier. I love it, because I get to talk to people who are experiencing the same things or have experienced the same things that I did or similar, and we we really can relate to each other, and we get to sort of support each other and share and say, look, I experienced that. I know what it's like. That's horrible. If I can do anything for you, let me know. It's a great support system, because so many times in our own families it's not there. And that's the whole issue with my situation. It's I don't have anyone who I can just talk to about this stuff and get it out into the, just get it off my chest, right? And so I know that there's people out there in the same position. So that's the whole reason behind those support groups. It's really just a place where someone can share how they're feeling, and then people because they are survivors themselves will come out from everywhere and just support you, right? It's so important. And so they did say that this self-help guides really should be used along with some therapy or counseling, but I'm just reading it out because I found that it was so good. And they were saying, we were reading last Friday night, that I want to check that out. Let me get back to the right page here. They said that help from healthcare providers and stuff. You can contact your healthcare providers to find people who actually deal directly with trauma. So if you're searching out or looking for a therapist or a counselor, and you're suffering from trauma, it's a good idea to actually look for someone who specializes and deals with trauma, because they'll know exactly what kind of issues that you might have going on, and they'll be able to work with you. So I think that's just great. So it says some examples of traumatic experiences that may be causing your symptoms, which could be include like depression, anxiety, phobias, delusions, flashbacks, and other types of things, even physical stuff from physical symptoms from trauma, right? These could be caused by physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, neglect, war experiences, outbursts of temper and rage. So there's lots of things that can cause that actually are traumatic and can cause all kinds of problems. Alcoholism, your own or in your family. Physical illnesses, surgeries, and disabilities, sickness in your family, loss of close family members and friends, natural disasters and accidents, things like this really that affect a person to the point where, they can't deal with it, and they basically kind of they either shut down or it manifests as like depression and stuff like that. So that's why this is so important. This article is great. It said that empowerment, you must be in charge of your own healing in every way to counteract the effects of the trauma where all control was taken away from you, right? And validation, you need others to listen to you, to validate the importance of what happened to you, to bear witness, and to understand the role of this trauma in your life, right? So it's good to talk to people and that can actually help you kind of work through it, because maybe they've experienced it themselves, right? And they can validate your feelings and what happened to you, right? Connection, it says trauma makes you feel very alone. As part of your healing, you need to reconnect with others. This connection may be part of your treatment. If you feel the cause of your symptoms is related to trauma in your life, you will want to be careful about your treatment and in making decisions about other areas of your life. The following guidelines will help you decide how to help yourself feel better. So this is what I wanted to cover tonight. Have hope, it says. It is important that you know that you can and will feel better. In the past, you may have thought you would never feel better, that the horrible symptoms you experienced would go on for the rest of your life. Many people who have experienced the same symptoms that you are experiencing are now feeling much better. They have gone on to make their lives the way they want them to be and to do the things they want to do. So it just shows, that people have come through it, and that I know that I've talked to survivors who have come through it, and they have hope, and they know that life can be good, and that's you're talking to one of them right now. I've come a long, long way, and I didn't used to be able to do. I wouldn't have been able to sit here and do this, even just a few years ago. And so it does happen. It can happen. Healing in your heart, and just knowing that there's hope, and it's you're not alone, and that life can be really good, right? So, but you have to just keep walking forward and just keep reaching out to people, right? And reaching out for help. And if you have to, if it's it's probably a good idea. Like I might seek professional counseling down the road too, and I'm not beyond that. So it's so important. It says, take personal responsibility. This is where we sort of left off here. When you have been traumatized, you lose control of your life. You may feel as though you still don't have any control over your life. You begin to take back that control by being in charge of every aspect of your life. Others, including your spouse, family members, friends, and healthcare professionals, will try to tell you what to do. Before you do what they suggest, think about it carefully. Do you feel that it is the best thing for you to do right now? If not, do not do it. You can follow others' advice, but be aware that you are choosing to do so. It is important that you make decisions about your own life. You are responsible for your own behavior, and being traumatized is not an acceptable excuse for behavior that hurts you or hurts others, right? So it's so important, taking personal responsibility, right? And just saying, just taking a look at your own life. I know that I do that all the time. And just saying, if someone offers you some advice, I usually thank them for it, but I don't always follow it. And I take a serious look at what's good for me in my life. And as long as it's moving in a positive forward direction, then I know it has to be something good, right? That's just the whole key. A lot of times people think they know what's best for you, but actually we are in control of ourselves. And so in order to take that authority and take that control, we have to take a good look at ourselves, right, to know what's good for us, right? So it's so important. Talk to one or more people about what happened to you. I like this. Because I just think, people have been silent for too long. And that's why, people have gone to their graves in silence and never spoke out about the abuse they suffered and never spoke out about the trauma that they went through. War veterans, people who have had terrible surgeries and things have gone wrong. And they keep it all inside. and then it just goes with them, and they never got to heal from it. They never got to tell anybody how they felt, and I think that's so sad. Everybody deserves to be able to share their story if they want to. Now, they shouldn't be forced into it. I'm doing mine on purpose. But the thing is if a person's sitting in silence, in suffering in silence, it's a very lonely place to be, right? And so that's why I thought, I'm speaking out. I need help, and that was my way of saying, hello, this is me, this was my life, and I need some support, and I also want to be a support. It was a very proactive thing to do, and I don't mind putting myself out there because I thought I needed to do that for myself because I was, just struggling, just knowing, keeping it so inside of myself. It was just, it was kind of eating me up. It was just taking my life away. And I thought, no, I'm going to do it because I need to know that I'm not alone, and I need to find people who can support me, right? Since my own family just can't do it because they're in their own mindsets, right? They're in their own places, and I can't tell them how to live their lives and how they should be thinking or feeling. It's up to them. But I had to search out my own support. You know what I mean? And so many times we don't have people in our lives. That's why I'm saying, I'm here, and if you need to talk, I'm available, because it's so important to have someone to chat to and to just to be there for you, right? So important. So talk to one or more people about what happened to you. Telling others about the trauma is an important part of healing the effects of trauma. Make sure the person or people you decide to tell are safe people who would not hurt you and who understand that what happened to you is serious. They should know, or you could tell them, that describing what happened to you over and over is an important part of the healing process. Don't tell a person who responds with statements that invalidate your experience, like, that wasn't so bad, or you should just forget about it, or forgive and forget, or you think that's bad, let me tell you what happened to me. They don't understand. In connecting with others, avoid spending all your time talking about your traumatic experiences. Spend time listening to others and sharing positive life experiences, like going to movies or watching a ball game together. You will know when you have described your trauma enough, because you won't feel like doing it anymore. See, it'll just be gone. Like, you'll just be like, oh, well, it just won't come to your mind to be one. It won't need to get out because it's gotten out, right? That's the whole issue, is to heal from it, and I guess it's a bit of a release, right? I know that's what I found with me, in writing my blog and talking to people and stuff. It certainly has helped, and I don't feel so much pressure because I've actually been able to release it and allow some healing to take place, right? But that's just me. But I'm just saying it is really important to have someone, if you are going to discuss something with someone, make sure it's someone who you know is not going to hurt you with that information or turn it around on you, because that can happen. And there's just, people are people. And they make mistakes, and they don't necessarily, and they also are uneducated. A lot of people don't know anything about trauma, and they wouldn't know how to even talk to someone who's been through a traumatic experience because they've never experienced it themselves. And so if they haven't experienced it themselves, they don't know how to be empathetic, right? They might care for you and they might really like you as a person, but they wouldn't know how to understand it with you because they haven't been in a situation like that, so they don't know what it would be like, so they can't be there in your shoes with you, right? So it's so important to find someone who can help you, and I tell you, that's why, I try to be available for people as much as I can, because I know myself, I've been there, and it's hard, and it's so good to have somebody to talk to, and I love it because I love talking to people, and I love helping people, and I like getting help myself. I like to support myself, right? As I'm supporting them, they're supporting me, so it's a win-win situation, right? Develop a close relationship with another person, it says. You may not feel close to or trust anyone. This may be a result of your traumatic experiences. Part of healing means trusting people again. Think about the person in your life that you like best. Invite them to do something fun with you. If that feels good, make a plan to do something else together at another time, maybe the following week. Keep doing this until you feel close to this person, and then, without giving up on that person, start developing a close relationship with another person. Keep doing this until you have close relationships with at least 5 people. Support groups and peer support centers are good places to meet people. And that's the thing, in our lives, it's hard to make a good friend. It's hard to find good friends. And I mean, I've found a whole bunch of them online. But in my own personal life, in Calgary here, I just don't have time to. I haven't made time to go make personal relationships, and the ones that I've had they all just kind of left, or I kind of booted them out because they weren't very empathetic, right? That's the whole issue. They just weren't able to be that support system for me. So, and it wasn't their fault. If they can't do it, they can't do it. And I kind of was bitter for a while, but then I realized, oh well, if they can't do it, they can't do it. So it's time to find some that can. But I found a whole huge network online that I just love, and I just love all you guys. Things you can do every day to help yourself feel better. I like this. There are many things that happen every day that can cause you to feel ill, uncomfortable, upset, anxious, or irritated. You will want to do things to help yourself feel better as quickly as possible without doing anything that has negative consequences. For example, drinking, committing crimes, hurting yourself, risking your life, or eating lots of junk food, right? So you don't want to be, it's so easy to reach for me, like a cigarette, or for somebody else it'd be a drink, or start, self-harming or hurting yourself. There's other things we can do. And I'll read through these. Read through the following list. It says, do something fun or creative, get some exercise, write something, use your spiritual resources, do something routine, wear something that makes you feel good, get some little things done, learn something new. There's just all kinds. Do a reality check, be present in the moment, and stare at something pretty or something that has special meaning to you. Play with children in your family or with a pet, and do a relaxing exercise. Take a warm bath. Expose yourself to something that smells good to you, like some flowers, or bake bread or something. Listen to music. Make music. Sing. Singing helps. So we'll go through these. These are great. Read through the following list. Check off the ideas that appeal to you, and give each of them a try when you need to help yourself feel better. Make a list of the ones you find to be most useful, along with those you have successfully used in the past, and hang the list in a prominent place, like on your refrigerator door, as a reminder at times when you need to comfort yourself. Use these techniques whenever you are having a hard time, or as a special treat for yourself, right? Do something fun or creative, something you really enjoy, like crafts, needlework, painting, drawing, woodworking, making a sculpture, reading fiction, comics, mystery novels, or inspirational writings, doing crossword or jigsaw puzzles, playing a game, taking some photographs, going fishing, going to a movie or other community event, or gardening. So that's great, just doing something fun or creative. I know it's hard to find time to do a lot of the stuff that we like to do. And, it kind of gets put off, and then it just becomes all about work, and then it just becomes all about cleaning the house, or running the errands, or doing the things we have to do on our day-to-day basis, right? And we often leave out time for fun and creative stuff. I know that I do. And but I'm so busy just trying to advocate that that's where my heart is, right? But I still need to take time out to do these little things, right? To feel good, right? To keep it fun and keep it creative and interesting, right? I like to make cards and stuff. I like stamping up stuff, and I'm a big card making person and things like that. And I don't send anybody any cards. I just make them and keep them. That's really sad. But I could start sending those out. That would be good. Get some exercise. Here's another one. Exercise is a great way to help yourself feel better while improving your overall stamina and health. The right exercise can even be fun. And write something. Writing can help you feel better. You can keep lists, record dreams, respond to questions, and explore your feelings. All ways are correct. Don't worry about how well you write. It's not important. It is only for you. Writing about the trauma or traumatic events also helps a lot. That's probably what I should. Actually, I did that in my personal blog, but some of it I didn't go into detail about, and I probably should do that on my own. It allows you to safely process the emotions you're experiencing. It tells your mind that you are taking care of the situation and helps to relieve the difficult symptoms you may be experiencing. Keep your writings in a safe place where others cannot read them, and share them only with people you feel comfortable with. You may even want to write a letter to the person or people who have treated you badly, telling them how it affected you, and not send a letter. I actually heard that I read that in another coping list. Michael C. Irving, www.irvingstudios.com, Child Abuse Monument. He's got a great coping list for adult survivors of child abuse, and that's a great thing. He said, you could write a letter and really tell the person who, or the persons who abused you, exactly how you feel, and then you don't even have to send it. You can write it all out, and you can either keep it and put it away somewhere safe, or you can tear it up and rip it up to shreds. And I just love that because it allows you the avenue to say what you wanted to say. And I think that's really a good idea. Use your spiritual resources, but you want to make sure you're in a safe place when you do something like that. You want to have maybe a friend or a support person who you know, your good friend, who you can call anytime and just tell them, I'm going to do this, but I might need to chat with you afterwards, right? Because it's so important. Use your spiritual resources. Spiritual resources and making use of these resources varies from person to person. For some people, it means praying, going to church, or reaching out to a member of the clergy. For others, it is meditating or reading affirmations and other kinds of inspirational methods or materials. It may include rituals and ceremonies. Whatever feels right to you. Spiritual work does not necessarily occur within the bounds of an organized religion. Remember, you can be spiritual without being religious. So, yeah, you just look down into your own spiritual being, and just whatever that is, allow that to be part of you, and meditate, reading affirmations, and just sending blessings or whatever makes you feel good. It makes you feel right. It's so important. Do something routine. When you don't feel well, it helps to do something normal. The kind of thing you do every day or often, things that are a part of your routine, like taking a shower, washing your hair, making yourself a sandwich, calling a friend or family member, making your bed, walking the dog, or getting gas in the car. So those are just like routine things that we can do when we're just not feeling good. We can say, well, I'll just do this or I'll just do that. And it kind of takes us to the next place, right? It kind of maybe moves us past how we're feeling with the trauma and the feelings of that trauma. If we just keep doing the routine things, right, it does keep us going in a forward-moving direction. It just allows you to do something instead of just sitting in your own kind of despair, right? And if you're experiencing trauma, if you've experienced trauma, you would know what I'm talking about. I know that if you, I'm sure that you have, and you would know that it's hard some days to get through. Wear something that makes you feel good. Everybody has certain clothes or jewelry that they enjoy wearing. These are the things to wear when you need to comfort yourself. So just, to sort of spruce it up and feel good about yourself, right? It's just so important. And we'll continue on with this Wednesday night. I want to continue on. There's some great stuff on here coming up here about the healing journey, and also barriers to healing and moving forward on your healing journey and things like that. So we're going to look at that this week. And I just wanted to read out some references. We got about 2 minutes left. I have some new stuff too, but I'm just going to read some of these older ones too. This is Heal My PTSD, www.healmyptsd.com. Michelle Rosenthal, founder and creator. She is 25 years PTSD free. She knows all about post-traumatic stress disorder. That's a great website, and I know that if you have questions about post-traumatic stress disorder, you just contact her because she's got some great information, and she's a very nice lady, and she'll help you. Her passion is to help people move past and move on and recover, make a full recovery from post-traumatic stress disorder. So she's a nice lady. And then there's We Are Adult Survivors of Child Abuse and Neglect. This is www.wearesurvivors.org. They have resources, adult survivor news stories. There's all kinds of stuff on there. It's a great website. I really like it. The ASCA Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. It's a Morris Center program at www.ascasupport.org. And this is a good website, and it's self-help support group program designed specifically for adult survivors of neglect, physical, sexual, and or emotional abuse. And that's a great website. There's 1 in 6, www.1in6.org, for survivors and supporters of men who they say that 1 in 6 men will have experienced unwanted or abusive sexual experiences in childhood. 1 in 6 men. So this website's designed specifically for survivors and supporters, and it's a great website. The Survivor Manual, this is www.survivormanual.com, run by the Angela Shelton Foundation. And there's healtofeel.com, and that is Linda Lee, and she's got a great two groups that I belong to. And you can go right onto those groups and sign up if you'd like to be a part of it. And there's some great resources there, all kinds of links and resources, and I really highly recommend it. And just go type into your browser healtofeel.com, and that is Linda Lee. And there is, I'm a volunteer with Dreamcatchers for Abused Children, and you can type in dreamcatchersforabusedchildren.com and bring up their website. Tons and tons of resources. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning 5:30, one child abuse survivor to another. Take care everybody. Just keep that hope alive and stay well, and have a good night. Talk to you soon.